I'm not sure if I told you guys or not. Yeah, I'm into all this weird shit and things that spook other people, right?
Mm-hmm. What's your name first?
No, listen. It's important that you know this. Okay?
Okay.
Terrified of cameras. You guys are gonna have to carry this thing.
We're scared of them too. I'm always nervous for the first 5 minutes.
Where did all these fucking flies come from?
I brought them. They're my
Sean threw a
friends.
twisted tea in the trash can.
Son of a bitch.
I did a bag
I
just
came and
for
sat
you.
in here when you were here.
Oh.
It's like the Amityville horror.
Yeah.
The possessed guy shows up and all of a sudden there's flies.
Fucking chair. Okay.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm hot and bothered already.
Have that effect on people.
You do. I don't know how you're comfortable in that, 'cause I'm sweating
Fine.
at you.
Yeah. No, I wear it often enough that my body's activated.
I've not worn one since probably high school.
Oh, I wear it all the time. Several. I have a corduroy one with leather elbows.
Oh,
But
that would be peach.
I ripped the button off of it, and I don't know where it is. So.
I take that back. I was in in one of my buddy's weddings, and when his wife at the time got all of our measurements, she accidentally ordered slim. And I was
Not so slim at the time.
How do we look? Chubby?
We're going through the whole wedding practice and all that. And pastor's walking back and forth, and it was a Catholic wedding, so you're up and down, up and down. And about the 5th time I was kneeling down, he walks in front of me. I'm like, you might want to avoid this area. He's like, why is that? I'm like, because this button gives. I'm not going to be the one that knocks you out.
You have just earned yourself a seat at the head table, pal. We already got the tuxes. Boy, this party really died.
Death at a wedding.
Hey, be a good topic.
Yeah.
Or a good movie.
Well, they got death at a funeral. Did they
Oh,
have death at a
wait.
wedding?
Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. Settle down, Sean. I know it doesn't happen often. You might have witnessed the first one. I'm Jason. Welcome to Gristled Up.
Perfect. We don't even have to do anything. They bring you on more often. For our future guests, just take notes.
That's how it's done.
Jason is part of the Paranormal Patio channel.
I'm the only part.
I was going to say,
The sole
it's not
proprietor.
part.
He is the part, half the part, and the whole part. He is the whole enchilada.
He is the patio.
I am.
He is the patio of the paranormal. So, let's just hear a little bit about what you do with that.
Sure. Well, it's called Paranormal Patio because when I started doing podcasts, it was in my patio, and I talked about paranormal things.
Clever name.
I never realized that's why you named
That's-
it that. In all
Yep,
honesty.
that was it.
I just thought it.
So
Great.
stuck around. I'm too deep now to change it, even though I no longer record in a patio because said patio doesn't even
Yeah,
exist.
but if you say paranormal shed, it just...
Yeah,
No,
it
so-
doesn't have to
Yeah,
say
it's
ring.
kind of creepy.
Paranormal Amish building. it
Yeah,
just-
it doesn't
say
ring. Yeah, it doesn't ring.
That's not paranormal, that's my uncle.
No, so I had a conversation with the guest on my show, and he's like, I love that it's supposed to be a patio. It's two people just chatting in the patio, and everybody has their own interpretation of what a patio is like. So, like in a way, you're allowing this creative interpretation for everybody that's different. And it's not pointed because you ask one person what a patio is, to them, you know, they're going to have, oh, this is what the ideal patio in my mind.
Sure.
And everybody's is different. So it's kind of neat, I guess. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm on getting ready to start season 5. Changing things up this year. Previous 4 seasons have been me interviewing somebody who's usually weirder than me. And no, people whose books I read or podcasts I listen to, or you know, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, hey, I'd really like to talk to them. Turns out, all you have to do is just ask. Like 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, sure.
Why didn't you tell me that when we asked you?
Yeah.
I did a lot more than asking.
It didn't. How many times did you ask me?
3 times.
I said me.
What did I say the first time?
You said, I'm really busy in October.
Did I say no?
You never said no. You just said,
Did you
I'm
ever
really busy in October. And the second time you gave me all the dates you were unavailable. And the third time I said, so when can you do it? You said, does this Tuesday work?
I'm so difficult. Paint me as the bad guy in this picture. Sean never even asked me. Cody asked me. Caleb asked me. Caleb asked me.
I figured they see you before I would. I don't.
Where's the brotherhood?
It's there. It's present.
Anyway,
It's in the room.
It's
So,
like a distant step brotherhood.
yes, he's always stuck in my dryer. It's a step brotherhood. So I don't get to be irreverent like this very often, so I'm having a good time with it. Yeah, I'm changing things up this year. I'm not just interviewing somebody. I had brought on my friend Keith, who was on the first episode of season 3. We are going to just be telling stories about weird things. 2 stories per episode. One will be something that's kind of local-ish to us within like 3 hours, and the other will be something that even I had never heard about before. And I'm pretty well versed in stuff, so it was kind of a struggle. It sounded like a lot better idea in my head, so I tried to implement it. Know it. Know it. Know it. But it's going to be really fun. So yeah, changing things up this year.
And you release those every week.
Every 2 weeks when I'm on. My episodes are a lot longer than your guys' episodes.
They are. I've listened since the beginning.
Thank you. I knew there was one guy.
I listened to a couple.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say that I follow it.
Grow
Yeah.
up.
But
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's not for everybody. Just like for me, it's so much more of a struggle to find the audience because it's such a niche.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Yeah, it's true though. But the people that are in that niche are so much more passionate about it
Oh, sure.
because it's a niche, right? So
And you can really tell that with your guests that you've had on, how passionate they are about
yeah,
anything they're speaking about or
Sure.
the topics they're covering. It's,
the great thing about talking to those people is that you instantly feel like you're just totally friends with them. And so many of the people that I've interviewed that I've continued to like be in touch with after the fact, like some of my best friends, you know, some people I've never even met in person, you know.
that's pretty wild, too.
Yeah, but I know that I could text them and be like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, you know, sure. You know, so I love that because like we are so passionate about it. When we find someone else, it's like, ah!
You're immediately welcomed into that
Yeah.
group.
You put a rainbow on that?
I'll figure something.
This is a professional podcast.
It is.
Yeah, also, I'm finishing in 2 weeks, I think, finishing a documentary that I've been working on forever.
The one that was supposed to be released 2 years ago.
Shut up, Cody.
So what's that documentary about?
Documentary is about, well, I'll get into it a little bit later, because you want to talk about dreams. And it's probably, other than like funny dreams, it's my
It's
best
the-
dream story.
The deep stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as the paranormal in the paranormal patio, what all does that? I mean, are we talking like spooky bedtime stories, or are we talking like in depth?
In depth. I like to describe my level of interest as intermediate to beyond. It's not so introductory for me because I find these weirdos, and I say that as a term of endearment, like we all call ourselves weirdos, we know we are, you know. But we're so deep in the weeds, and the people that I'm interested in talking to are other people that are also deep in the weeds. It's not an introductory level conversation, it's not, my parents' bathroom was haunted. Like,
You hear a lot about that.
parents have haunted bathrooms.
It's always the bathroom.
Every time I walk by, someone's in there going, Funnily enough, I experienced a ghost in a bathroom one time. It was a little white kitten. I was in high school, and I was taking a little poopy in my girlfriend's bathroom, and out of the corner of my eye, it looks like a sheet of paper, like, falling to the floor. So I turn. I think I might have been mid-wipe. I know Sean was concerned.
Paint a picture here.
So I turn and I look, and there's this little white kitten, and it runs from where I saw the paper go down towards the sink vanity thing, and there's like a gap between that and the wall. So I'm immediately like, hold on a minute, you know, and I, do whatever, and I get up and look, and there's nothing there, and there's no holes, there's no like loose boards or anything, and I'm like, eh.
Did you actually do whatever? Did you finish?
So that was the second ghost I saw.
Because I wouldn't have finished. Like, that would have freaked me out.
Oh no, like
I'd have pulled my pants up and ran away.
I finished my I cleaned myself up. Somebody had a gun to my head, they're like, get off this toilet bag. Hold on a second.
Give me 30.
All right, no me.
You're a cretin. A professional podcast. The first ghost encounter that I had was another animal. It was a dog. And you guys know me, I'm a psychopath, and I can't stand dogs. Like, I hate them. I don't beat them or anything, but I don't want them anywhere in my vicinity. So I went to visit my aunt and uncle, and they lived out in the middle of nowhere. And his two sisters lived in their childhood home, like sharing a driveway, right? Different house, but. So I went out, got out of my car, and this little dog is like running all over around me. And it's like running figure eights between my legs as I'm stepping and all this, and I'm like, what's going on? And it starts jumping up, and it never touched me the entire time. So they get closer to the door, it just runs off. And like I go in, I'm like, where do you guys get this crazy dog from? And like, what are you talking about? And I described it, and one of the sisters was in there, and she started crying. And I'm like, well, I didn't hurt it. Like, she's like, we had a dog, like died 7 years ago, got hit by a car right out there on the road, and you just described it perfectly. And it would always do that, would run between your legs. It never jumped on anybody though. And I was like, huh, how about that? So that was the first like ghost that I saw.
Or else it's just shit 7 years ago, and now it's a piece of shit as a ghost.
Yeah, yeah, doomed. So I forever walk the earth as a dog. No greater horror in existence. Yeah, that's the first one that I saw. It was pretty wild. But like I verified, they knew, like they lived in the middle of nowhere, but everybody out there knew everybody. And they knew all the dogs that ran loose, and no one had another dog like that. So either it was an extreme coincidence of a hobo dog just hitchhiking its way through the country, or it was the ghost of their dog. Either way. Yeah. But like, we talk about some ghost stuff, talk about aliens and UFOs a lot. Cryptids. Does anybody here in class know what a cryptid is?
I feel like I've heard of it before, but I couldn't tell you the definition.
So cryptids are animals
Fifth
that
sentence.
science denies exist, right? So like Bigfoot, dogmen, or werewolves.
Big man. I've heard of that one.
The big man?
Yeah.
Seinfeld?
Man, bear,
Oh,
pig.
yeah. Maybe it was from Seinfeld.
Another clip. It's a big man, Jerry!
When you said that one, it was like, shit, I know that one. Or you did, yeah, I know what you mean.
So animals that are denied by science despite, numerous encounters with them in the wild. That's as entry level as I can disclose. Because if I sit here and tell you that me and all my friends think that aliens, UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, fairies are all goblins, are all the same thing that presents itself to different people in different ways based on body chemistry, mental state, seismic activity in the area in which it's encountered, astrology even,
So like a
solar flares.
skinwalker?
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure that's entirely made up, by the way.
Skinwalkers?
Yes.
Oh.
There's not one record in Cherokee literature that I've ever come across that describes the fucking Cherokee skinwalker. I don't think it's real. I think it's something that the white guy made up. Like, they believe in this fucking word.
They're crazy. Kill 'em.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do
But
you think's going on with Skinwalker Ranch then?
I think it's artificial due to the experiments that have been taking place in that area. I think there's a lot of things that happened out there that we're never going to know about. Ultrasonic weaponry testing, weather changing technology. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying I'm speculating. There's things like that have taken place out there that have forever altered the landscape beyond the physical that allows for weird
That
things to
makes
happen.
sense. I mean,
Just my opinion.
I believe that.
Because I think that's the most proof they ever have is like just their electronic measuring stuff is all going wonky, and like I've watched a few of the documentaries on
Yeah.
it.
But there's also this principle of what are referenced as tulpas or egregores, which are thought forms that are created simply by people thinking that they exist. So people who now are encountering skinwalkers that fit the description of stories they heard about skinwalkers might be projecting skinwalkers into their reality for there to be a witness. You believe in something strongly enough, it comes to pass.
See, I was actually going to ask that. Like, do you think it's
He wasn't going to ask that.
See, well, I was going to ask, like,
So you think
it's
skinwalkers
a-
are tulpas or?
like, I mean, in like the believing thing.
Mm.
Like, is it a seeing is believing, or like if you don't believe it, you would never see it kind of thing?
Yeah, not all the time, but I think that we don't have the full understanding of not only our like inner reality, but also the shared reality that we're all in right now, right? Like we're all in this garage right now, and we all see relatively the same thing. You know, we focus on different things, whatever. But if you just say, yeah, we do a podcast in my garage, this is what it looks like on the screen, and people only see this point of view, they don't know about that wall. They don't know there's a car parked there. I had no idea what I was walking into, but it already was there because it's already been built by somebody else.
Right.
So I think you can bump into that type of thing, you know, a lot, especially with like the skinwalker stuff. You don't necessarily have to believe in skinwalkers to have a skinwalker encounter.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have the most profound, unexplained encounters are people that don't believe in the thing that they encounter.
See,
You
that's-
don't believe
that's
in
how I-
Bigfoot, and you have a Bigfoot encounter, those are the most like dedicated reports. Like,
Right.
thought all this was bullshit. A Bigfoot came and stole my corn chips. Like, and I believe it. I saw it. You
Took my
can't tell
fucking
me.
Slim Jim.
And those are those people because they say, this is gonna sound crazy, but, and then they
Yeah.
didn't believe what they saw until they saw it. 9 times out of 10, someone says, you're not gonna believe this, but buckle up.
It's getting ready to be
This
loud.
is gonna be a good one.
It's a good thing I got my pants rolled up. Shit's about to get deep.
Got holes in your shoes though.
That's alright, they rinse out.
What are those?
They're fucking camo crop.
I'm really disappointed. I used to play a video game called No Man's Sky a lot more than is healthy for a human being, and I found a planet that was named Crocs, and I took a picture of it, and I wrote, what are those? And I shared it on social media, and no one even so much as liked it.
And you'd think that would be something that
I
everybody
know. I'm still upset about it. This was like 8 years ago,
Oh.
6 years ago. How
Reshare it.
I don't have it anymore.
Son of a bitch.
Speaking of Crocs, though, I know you've seen them. You see that they have Shrek Crocs now?
I did see
They got the ears.
It's 2 of my least favorite things put together. Now all they need is to smell and sound like dogs when you fucking step in.
Shape of an L on her floor.
I love Smash Mouth. It was a sad day.
Yeah.
It was. I still can't believe you don't like Shrek, though. It's phenomenal.
Sorry, man. I can't apologize that I have taste.
Wow.
Not much.
Apparently.
Rude.
No. I don't like Mike Myers that much.
That's understandable.
I love Wayne's World. I even like Wayne's World too. And I absolutely am enamored with So I Married an Axe Murderer. Beyond that,
I've never even heard of it.
oh, you need to watch it.
He loves Mike Myers.
It's great. He also plays his Scottish father, which is the highlight of the entire movie.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
What about the Love Guru?
He's like an Austin Powers fan, either.
Yeah, I hate Austin
Oh,
Powers.
I'm just kidding. I hate the Love Guru, but Austin Powers is.
It was a movie that was made.
Yep. Fair enough. So there's something that I've talked about with you that I don't know if I've probably shared with the two of you, but I don't know if you've ever experienced it. But sleep paralysis
Oh, I
is
know.
something that I don't have it as much anymore, but I used to have it regularly, and I had it for easily a month or two. Anytime I took a nap, I would have it. And for anybody that doesn't know what it is, you've probably had it before. It's whenever you fall asleep. Say if I fell asleep at this table right now, I would start dreaming that I am right here, and they would be talking right around me, but I cannot do anything. Can't speak, can't move. It is, paralysis. But it's terrifying because a lot of times whenever I have it, I try to get out of it and I can't, and then I start panicking and I can't breathe.
And that's
then
about the time you.
yeah, exactly. And then there's times where I've had it it's really trippy too, where I've been inside of sleep paralysis, inside of my dream. So, like, I'm dreaming that I'm in sleep paralysis inside of it. So I wake up and I'm finally relieved to be waking up, and then I'm in sleep paralysis. It's fucking horrible.
That's a cosmic joke.
Yeah. It's like,
Thanks a lot,
oh, thank
Obama."
God, I still can't move.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you told me that, and I was like, you're like, sometimes when I take a nap, I'm awake, but I can't do anything. And I'm like, that's sleep paralysis. Huh. And then we talked about it, and you're like, all right, well, at least I feel better now that I know what's going on than that it's a common thing.
Yeah.
Like 6-8 months later, I'm sitting at work, and your brother Tyler comes up to me, and he's like, you ever have that thing where you wake up, but you can't move? You can't even blink sometimes? And I was like, you put me on, right? I was like, you mean sleep paralysis? He's like, is that what it's called? I've always wondered. You know anything about that? And we talked about it, and I was like, you know, your brother has sleep paralysis a lot. Huh? That's weird.
You blew both dicks and...
Not the first time.
I banged you.
I don't get to do that on my show. That's fine.
We don't
Yeah,
discriminate
no,
on this one.
that was awesome though, and to find out that you both have the same thing.
And so I described it to my mom one time because I asked her if she'd ever experienced it. She said she used to when she was younger, but not so much now. But
That means you're getting older.
yeah,
That's a deal.
it feels good to not fucking have that anymore. I can tell you that. But another way of putting it, it's basically like if you fall asleep in not necessarily an unfamiliar place, but you know, you always go to bed in your bed.
Mm.
So if you were to fall asleep in this chair,
We're
it's
not
an
talking about it.
unfamiliar space, you know. It's not your common.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. I've only had it happen one time, and I wasn't like scared by it because I knew exactly what I've been waiting, hoping it would happen. Like I'm really, like I'm into paranormal stuff, but I'm also really into altered states of consciousness, and that's definitely an altered state of consciousness, you know. So when it happened to me, I was more excited than I was, you know, bothered or scared or whatever, and it only lasted like 30 seconds. But
Dude, mine seems like it lasts an eternity.
I don't think I've ever had... No, I can't recall any instances that I've had the sleep paralysis. I've had like night terrors and stuff before.
I don't remember if I told you or purposefully didn't tell you about what people refer to as sleep paralysis demons. Did I mention that?
I've heard it because I looked up. I wanted to
I didn't want
learn
to.
more about it.
I don't think
but
I wanted to be the one to tell you and like instill that much, like that higher level of fear into the experience for you. But a lot of people will see like shadows moving around, even like getting in their face and like fucking touching them and stuff.
I thankfully have never had that.
Yeah, Tyler hasn't either, for the record. I wasn't as worried about upsetting him. Like he seemed to be okay with it. You were a little freaked out.
My main concern was just because it was every time I fell asleep, like.
Yeah.
Peacefully just take a damn nap.
No, I loved that you both came to me to tell me about it and not even tell each other about it.
That is odd that that's never came up in a conversation between him and I guess.
Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it very much. I like being the guy. You know what I mean?
Like you are
I'm the resident weirdo.
Yeah, you're the go-to
I'm
at
there
work, whether you're the go-to for the...
And I'm there for it
shit.
even when you guys don't know. Like when he was talking about Starlink a few weeks ago, did you post a picture or something and you're like, you had like a picture of it or something? Or maybe you didn't. But I remember you talking about it or something, and like I immediately knew that it was Starlink. But I was like, 50 people lost their damn minds last night thinking we were being invaded. It happens every time it passes over
Oh
here.
my god, dude. I got goosebumps. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Okay, so what would you have done if they just would have gotten closer and closer and closer, and then all of a sudden there was like
Or
a
they
craft in your
separated or something?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Whew.
It would have went from what the fuck is that to...
Yeah.
I would run in the
dragging
house.
me in the house.
I would run in the house on my own accord and start packing a suitcase. And I'd be like, deuces,
He comes out with a spinning hat.
I've been waiting.
Come on, guys.
Take me home.
Took you fuckers long enough.
You guys want anything to eat? I got snacks.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But I knew, because I've got my finger on the pulse of weird shit, you know. So I keep a lookout for people, because people don't like to talk about it that often. You know,
I
you
always
have a
find
weird
it
experience. Like a lot of people here are like really conservative and religious, so like to them it's like some evil thing, right? All this weird stuff. They don't want to talk about it because then, you know, they're gonna have an exorcism done on them or something, you know.
They're going to hell.
They're going to hell.
Go to hell. You go to hell and you die.
So people don't talk about it, but it's getting better.
What's that the dreaming called where you can train yourself?
Lucid?
Lucid, yeah.
Lucid dreaming.
We
Astral
talked about that a
projections,
little
crazy
bit.
cousin.
We talked about that not too long ago.
Yeah.
Did you say you ever had?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You've done it?
Yeah.
Have either of you?
I have a few times. I got pretty good at it to where I could purposely do it, but that was like probably when I was in high school, and I could only get it to happen probably 4 or 5 times.
So, for people that don't know, it's basically you can control your own dream, but what did you guys do?
I read a stack of books this tall, most of which I still have. It's a mental thing. Everybody can do it. Like, there's no one that can't have a lucid dream where you're in total control of your dreams. It's just a matter of training yourself to recognize that you're dreaming.
Yeah, and that's what it was for me. Like when I would finally notice it, then I would just navigate the dream that I was already having to my liking.
There you go.
This sounds
So-
very restless.
You want a really quick trick if you like. Maybe you don't want to do this. I don't know what your interest level is, but
I've always thought it would be neat to do, but like I don't know how you.
it takes a little commitment
Right.
for about 6 weeks. You
it's
write
too much commitment.
right on the back of your hand. Right, you're asleep, and train yourself to look at it like every hour. So if you're doing something repetitive in your waking day over and over again, you're going to start dreaming about it. And then eventually you're going to dream, you look at your hand and it says you're dreaming, and you're like, well,
Huh.
it's like Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty. He brings the moon closer to him and stuff, you know? It's like that. I mean, you can reset, restage, recast everything.
That would be nuts.
And then there's a step beyond lucid dreaming called astral projection. That is, it's really new age sounding and goofy sounding. If you've never experienced it, you're gonna, he's full of shit. It sounds fucking crazy. So you have to accept the fact that you are not just a meat sack wandering the earth, okay? There are several layers of energy that you're represented in each of these layers, like an onion, okay? So this is our physical existence that we're in right now. There's another layer, the next one up, called the astral layer. It's made pretty famous lately by the Marvel movies, and Doctor Strange is always talking about the astral. There's the scene in Avengers where the lady punches Bruce Banner
punches
out
him
of-
out of, yeah.
Similar to that, but that was highly stylized. So you train yourself to separate and transfer your consciousness from your physical body to that layer. And it's so similar to our physical reality that the changes are really subtle. So, for example, your tools over there are all Ryobi tools, right? But if you astral projected and you came into your garage, you might see that it's all Milwaukee and think, well, I'm in Sean's garage. But everything else might be the same. Maybe your gas cans are on a different shelf. But it's otherwise looks like, you know, a garage. So,
I've had that before.
what?
It's strange. I've had dreams like that before.
Where it's like almost real, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's like you're saying, it's totally different.
It was Milwaukee tools.
Yeah. It was.
You had a dream
Milwaukee
you were in
apart.
Sean's garage.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, it's beyond a dream because you're actually conscious in another body, not a physical body, but an energy body. And it's terrific because it's so, you feel freedom that you've never experienced before. My favorite instance, personally, was I was dreaming, realized I was dreaming, then I was in a lucid dream suddenly, and I was like, I want to go beyond this. And so I was inside this apartment complex in my dream. I don't know, never been there in my life, right? And suddenly I'm standing in the parking lot, and I look around, there's no one around, there's no wind, there's no birds, there's no bugs. It's nighttime, there's a street light in the parking lot. And I said, I want to fly up to that street light and touch the top of it. The world moved around my body. I didn't fly, I didn't move vertically. Reality shifted around me to accomplish what I wanted to do. And then it was on. I was doing all kinds of stuff.
Do you think, because, okay, so something that I know a lot about, derealization disorder.
Sure.
You always hear about them talking about when they view themselves from a third person view.
Yes.
Do you think that that has something to do with anything like that?
I think so. Yeah, I think that our consciousness will sometimes hide in a situation of extreme stress so that we disassociate with that event. Prime example, the one time I had it happen, I was in a really bad car accident. I got T-boned in my 1996 Chevy Corsica by a full-size extended cab, extended bed, long bed truck. And I remember it vividly from my back seat. I encountered the entire crash from the back seat.
And you're not the first person I've heard talk about that because, like, I mean, yeah, such a traumatic thing I think can bring you out of your, I mean, you're like, wow, you know, when you're that close to death, even to, I mean, God knows what those people are feeling.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, I think in a traumatic experience, you know, to avoid shock, to to prolong your life, you know, you will step away for a second and step back in when it's crisis averted. I think so. Yeah.
It really is a neat thing because, like, you know, maybe that's science or, you know, the medical world's way of describing such a phenomenon.
Maybe they
Just
probably
by calling
think
it a disorder.
Yeah.
But it really is neat because it affects a lot of people and they, you know, it makes life very difficult.
My biggest one is that I constantly feel like I'm in a video game and everybody around me is an NPC and I'm the only one with any thought or, not to sound condescending, I don't mean that. I don't mean I think everybody's dumb, not capable of thinking this thing. Like, I think it's because I have such a hard time relating to people anyway, just because of my interest.
You relate to us.
Oh yeah, sure. But
Yeah.
well, I mean, I do and I don't. Because you guys don't. You know, we all have our own personalities that no one else ever sees.
Sure.
And mine are incredibly fake. Like no one really gets to witness like what I am, as much as I try to let it out sometimes. But I often feel like that's not a real person. They're not experiencing life the same way I'm experiencing life. They're not having things happen to them and then reacting to them. Like everybody's just following a script. And I get sometimes into those, it's not all the time, I get into those moods and it's just a slippery slope because then I'm just questioning existence and having an emotional breakdown because I waved at someone 2 seconds before they waved at me or something, you know what I mean? The smallest thing can trigger it and set it off. Then I looked it up because I'm stupid. Never look up what's wrong with you. Don't ever do it because then that was a bad night. I was like, no, like I don't want to play this game anymore. Like,
I got that. You do not have testicular cancer. You don't even have testiculars.
What the fuck is rickets?
Well, we've danced around like dreams. Because I knew you wanted to talk about dreams. You know, there's a lot of those things are related. But your dreams are just your subconscious mind, you know, keeping itself alive, I guess. Which is weird that some people don't remember their dreams at all.
And we've talked about
Yeah,
that.
a
Where,
lot.
like, I don't remember a whole lot of mine, but when I do remember them, they're usually pretty out there.
That's how mine are. Like I probably only remember a dream every 2 weeks, but I don't get very good sleep, so that explains a lot of it. But when I do, man, they're enough that I wake up and it almost puts a fog on the rest of my day.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely had that.
I can't
Yeah.
get out of
You're
that
still
world
trying
I'm
to
in.
like, yeah, you're still like trying to understand if you're actually awake or not.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And my dreams are always just ridiculous.
So with that being said, I know we're running pretty close to time here. What's the wildest dream? Give us a real funny one and give us a more serious one if you have them.
Do you want the RC car or that one I told you guys about Sunday when I was reading through my old dream journal?
Oh, that one on
Honestly, both of them would.
Yeah.
Just hit both of them because
You can-
I think they're both fun.
Let me pull out the old cellular device. Sean, I don't think has heard this dream. I forgot I even had it.
Right.
Yeah.
Forgot I even had it. And I was going, we were talking about dreams at work the other day. And I was like, let me pull out my dream journal. And I
I
was
must
like,
have been working.
Must have been.
mind your business. You were supposed to be there, you would have been there.
What's it to you?
November 2nd, 2021. I don't know if I told you guys the date before.
Yeah, I remember that.
I titled it Dangerous Dating. Okay. Keep it together, Caleb.
Yeah.
So, I had scheduled dates with a bunch of women online. One woman had previously come to me for tax preparation, which I don't do, and reminded me that she still owes me money. She lived with her parents and was close to 40. They began giving me a bunch of stuff. Mostly it was small things, like tabletop gaming pieces. They also gave me a twin-size bed. I couldn't load it all, as I was out of room in my car, so I returned the twin-size bed. A woman's voice in my head told me she looked like this one, and thought she was pretty. I left and got out to the road when the dad came at me with a shotgun and demanded my money. It took off, and it was suddenly nighttime. I pulled to this resort, and they had followed me still after my money. I finally pull out my wallet, and it was full of board game money from games that don't use money, like Uno. Sorry, I've got Uno 50s.
Or Jenga.
We got a reverse 50 and a skip 50.
Eventually I took off again, leaving myself behind in the sand. It began to dawn on me that I had seen this all before. It was some arcade video game. I had always heard it was based on a true story. Then I began to see this island from a bird's eye view, and it was the intro to said game. So I typed these as soon as I wake up from them.
Yeah.
And I commented that I thought it was great that I had to throw in there that I actually don't prepare taxes for people. Like I'm telling this story to a complete stranger at like
Yeah, 'cause they,
1:40 in the morning
Yeah.
with one eye open, the other one crusted, like typing with my thumb.
I just want to make this clear. I don't do this. Like, it's not a side gig.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was pretty good. Having a wallet full of money for board games that don't use money, like Uno. I even put it in proof. Yeah. The RC car one I will tell it's not that long. I had a dream. I was driving an RC car down some suburban street, like in front of the Home Alone house or something, like you can imagine.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was no longer holding the controller. I was in the RC car, and I went down in this ditch and into a culvert, and it was full of water. And I'm like, I stall out, and I realize I'm drowning. Like, this is it. And I can't breathe. I'm starting to choke on water, and I wake up just coughing. I had like stomach acid coming out. Like, it was intense. It was really intense. So it made no sense, you know. But
I don't know why that was.
that's like poltergeist shit.
it was wild. I imagine what had happened was I probably have undiagnosed sleep apnea. My body stopped breathing, and my dream was like, "Guess what, bitch? You ain't breathing. Come up with something."
Yeah.
I'm drowning in my RC car. Perfect.
I don't even open the RC car.
I don't. Which I don't do. But the wildest dream for me was actually a lucid dream, which is why I said it ties into this. And this is part of the documentary that I've been working on. Is back in like 2001, I had a lucid dream that my girlfriend at the time and I were flying around the Shawnee Forest, and we crossed over a river and we landed in this little town in front of this house. And I remember it was like Peter Pan style landing. It was like slowly going down steps, you know? And we walked up.
Pictured you in green tights.
You go first, Beavis. Hey, I don't know, butthead, that road's like moving pretty fast and stuff. Come on, Beavis. Just start running really fast as soon as you hit the ground. It'll work. No way. You go. Don't be a wuss, Beavis.
So we walk up to the riverbank and there's all these dead gar on the river, and I wake up. And I can still remember this dream for whatever reason, just one of those dreams that you could have had 20 years ago. In fact, I did. That just sticks with you, you know. Nothing profound, nothing weird. 2 years later, my buddies and I were going down to Shawnee Forest for like a day hiking, right? And they'd never been there before. I knew a lot of spots. I took them everywhere I knew. They didn't want to go back home to their girlfriends. So we tried to come up with one more thing to do. Never dawned on us that we could just like sit, you know? So I remember going to the Smithland Lock and Dam Visitor Center one time when I was a little kid. So we looked it up on the atlas. You know what an atlas is? It was a little book with roads.
Why do you ask me?
And because I like to ask you those. Roads. So we find it and we drive there, but it's gone. Like the road to the visitor center ceased to exist. It's all tore up and there's like a barricade up. So somebody was like, well, see if we can see it from the Kentucky side. So why don't we just drive to Kentucky on the other side of the river and look? Okay. Because it was like, you couldn't see the barges even coming in from where we were, from where the road ceased to exist because of the levee, on the Ohio. So we're looking at the atlas again. Where can we go? And we're looking for Smithland Lock and Dam, and then there's this town called Smithland, Kentucky, and we're like, well, that's the no-brainer. That's where we're going to go. So we double back and we go all the way around. We park the car, the first road facing the river that we come into, and I'm in the back seat of this little tiny maroon Ford Taurus in August, sweating, dying. I, spill out the side when we stop, and I look up, and it's the same house that I had a dream about. Exactly the same. 2 years ago, I had this dream. I saw this house, and I'm like, huh. And we walk up to the river, and I'm still like
Completely mind.
Processing like that's really weird. Never been to this town before. We walk up to the river and I'm talking to one of my buddies. The other one is ahead of us and he's like, hey, come check this out. So we walk up there and there's all these dead gar on the bank of the river, just like I had. Same dream, everything's exactly the same. That messed with me for a long time. But like a precognitive dream.
Right.
Never since and never before, but that was the one. And it's always one of those weird little things. Then I come across this book about a guy going to the hollow earth through a cave entrance in Kentucky, and there's a map in this book with all these locations pointed on it, and one of them was Smithland, Kentucky, and I'm like, it's like 600 people, maybe, on a good day when there's a festival or a parade.
Right.
There's nothing there at all. There's a Dollar General, of course, but that was a recent addition. Somebody's like, hey, there's some corn. Let's plant it at Dollar General. They'll never know. So
Casey's General Store.
seeing that in a book from 1890, there's no Casey's.
Damn it.
There might be a Casey's. Look it up and post it in the comments. See, that's how you do that.
That's smart.
Engagement.
That is.
Audience engagement.
Who wants to see Sean's sack on the table instead of this?
Let's start a poll.
Let me know.
So I find this book from 1895, and I'm like enamored, and I deep research and find out why he picked that place and why there's all these things that are real that I can find historically in this book about a guy going to the hollow earth, which I don't think really happened, and none of it made sense. And a little bit of research went into a lot of research, and I decided to make a documentary about it, go back down there again for the first time. I remember one of you guys being around whenever I looked up the house on the map.
You showed it to me before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you did show me a lot about this place too.
Yeah. Well, it's
It may have been
encompassed
the same
my
time
entire
as me.
life.
Kentucky is like one of my favorite places
Absolutely,
to visit. It's
mine
like
too.
beautiful.
Love
I would love to live there.
Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. We'll find jobs down there. Yes, I love going to Kentucky.
So,
Nice to
Looks
meet you,
like,
boys.
yeah, it looks like me and you are running this bad boy.
so yeah, that's dreams, lucid dreaming, and more about what I do all in one for you.
And where can we find that? For the
Yeah.
viewers that-
Nowhere right now.
Yeah.
I promised it in the fall of 2021. Turns out it's a lot harder to make a documentary entirely on your own with no budget, having never made one before, than I anticipated.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be really proud of it when it's done. I'm proud of the parts of it that are what I consider done. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with that. It will be out on YouTube for free. I'm not going to try to charge any money for it. But if you are on my Patreon, it's patreon.com/beyond the patio. If you want to go a little bit further into my, see, it's a pun.
I like that.
You'll have access to it probably a week or two before it's public.
Beyond Gristled up. Not the same ring.
I think it has the exact same ring.
I think I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
Gristled or Gristled upper.
I'll have Jason send me links to everything, his information, that
Sure.
way you guys can check it all out. It's
Put
been
it
a
in the
pleasure.
show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm glad I got to see the nutsack in person.
Yeah.
Before you got here, I told him it looks a lot bigger on TV.
I know.
I've been told that before.
I think I have a hidden career possibility.
I had somebody Snapchat me and they were like, "Is that a ball sack?" I'm like,
Absolutely.
what else would you think it was?
Yeah.
You don't have one taped to your table?
Yeah.
2 taters in a canvas bag.
Like a bologna sandwich taped to the fucking front of the table.
Oh, it's funny. I opened this up. It's stress balls inside of there. That's why it's called Smack-a-Sack.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's an option to pull them out
Yep.
and play with them.
Yeah. We'll play with them after the.
Once again, yeah. So
But yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
we're
pretty awesome.
not nearly as professional as what you're used to, but
You know,
sometimes
there.
this is the way to go.
this is fun. I can let my hair down.
Yeah.
The king upon it, the peasants.
Oh,
Come
no.
on and shake your
Absolutely
tail feather.
not. No, I don't feel that way at all. We're all in this shit together. You know what I mean?
We got to get a couple more local YouTubers.
I still,
Get on this too.
I agree. I tried to do that once, and I realized it was going to take effort, and I was like, I don't have time. Delete page. Cancel all invites. That was like last year sometime, I think. There's a lot of people that do things. And we started incorporating the people that are on OnlyFans. That's a big
yeah.
network.
We have one. We just sit here in G-strings. Same episode.
Alright, well, I think for once I'm going to ask, you know?
Boys gristled up?
Whoa!
Stole it!
Bitch!
I am.
I am now.
Yeah.
Golly!
I'm sorry.
I was, no, you're fine. I liked it.
I'm only going to do
Touch
this.
my shoulder.
You're right. You're right. And you know, maybe we'll see how this does, and maybe later on down the road we'll try and do her again sometime.
I'm literally down the road.
Especially
It's true.
after watching the documentary and stuff.
Oh my god.
I'm actually.
I can give you a clip to put in if you want.
And that'll come out.
Me.
When did you say?
Hopefully before the new year. I'd like for it to be the end of October.
Okay, I was gonna say the end of October would be cool. It's like that's my month, and like I can get popcorn made and sit there. And
That's my goal. I'm blessed that I put it off because now there's the actors strike and the Hollywood writers strike, and like they're running out of shit. I'm about to hit it big. Union free. Thanks to Reagan.
Oh,
It's time.
That's our cutoff.
All right, I'm Gristled.
all right. You Gristle?
Yep.
You?
Always.
Are you?
Well, yeah. I was excited.
I'll get that. Don't worry about it. Just came to my attention that it's my phone. I was kind of wondering when Sean was going to turn off his alarm. But even more puzzled why he set one.
They know mine normally goes off, so mine's down here.
I was like, oh, he'll get it.
Before we this only take a second. I was taking a quick nap yesterday. We had family pictures, and I had the baby monitor on this leg, and my phone was on this leg. And I set a timer, and it started going off, and I picked up the baby monitor and was just staring at it.
Where's she going?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Go back to bed.
Oh,
I love it. I love it.
all right. On my ending note there, stay gristled up.